Cool. Alright. Today is Monday, August 28th, 2023. It's 12:05 in the morning. I'm here outside. I wanted to make a video outside in the dark because I haven't done one in a long time. It's been years actually. And I just feel like doing it right now because I want to make a video where I'm speaking freely, like I feel completely private, because I don't really have that much these days. I'm constantly interrupted and never really allowed the time to be open and free with everything I'm saying like I used to be, because, well, not just because of the spacing, also because of, the fact that I'm more grown now, so I tend to consider, how my words are going to affect others more than I used to. Before, I would just talk and just express myself freely because it helped me feel better, and I didn't really think about the words and how I said them. I didn't really give a fuck, like if it hurt anyone's feelings. And I didn't, because I was just very angry at the time, and too angry to give a fuck. And I'm still very angry, that's still there, that anger, but it's a lot more managed, you could say, or filtered, I guess. And that's just because of Athena, because I want to set a good example for her and to make my actions and words resonate in a positive manner out into the world and her. And if I'm making videos and hurting people's feelings and getting into arguments because of them, I'd rather just not do that, I'd rather just hold it in and let it out whenever I get the chance, whenever I'm free, whenever I'm able to speak freely. Is that a deer over there? You a deer? You watching me? Get the fuck out of here. Damn deer. I don't like them because they come and they shit all over the yard, all over my baby's playground. Fucking step and ruin her toys and shit. Step on and ruin her toys. They're just little assholes. Pests. They're natural pests. Sometimes they've gotten aggressive too, some of them, with our dogs and stuff. So I don't really like them coming around here. Fucking staring at me, I know it is. As soon as I go over there, you're gonna run off. Go mind your business somewhere else. It's just staring. Deer in the headlights look. Anyways, yeah, so I have about 24 minutes for a video, so let's see what I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about some more serious stuff. I've been talking a lot about work and just sharing videos of my family and dogs and stuff, because Just been doing a lot of that lately, but yeah. I wanted to talk about my mission here, what I came to do here, and how it's been so far, the layout, the process. I made videos before talking about how I was basically awakened back in 2012, 2013, around that time, to all the horrible shit that goes out on in the world and how it actually functions, and how it's run by basically psychopaths and pedophiles and all that shit. And I mentioned in other videos how I was downloaded basically my mission, what I'm supposed to be doing, because I was at that time on my life path that was basically my own selfish desires of what I wanted to do in the world as it existed then, anyways, because it's not the same as it was a decade ago, which is a good thing, because it's not the same, because a lot of people have woken up to everything I just mentioned, and they are starting to decide to change their life paths and do things differently. And every time people do that, it changes the timelines, it changes the whole agendas, the narratives they have to do, because people are existing in a different realm essentially when they jump timelines like that. So every time that happens, it causes that world, that realm of psychopaths that rule the world together, to just clench itself in a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter. And that's basically been the whole plan. I used to listen to videos of channelers and be really into the spiritual community during that time, and I was downloaded with a lot of messages myself about what was gonna happen, and started talking to different entities, different higher beings that were communicating with me. I had a few actual alien experiences where I was abducted once in my sleep. I don't know if it was my actual body that was abducted or just my consciousness, but it was like taken to another place entirely. And yeah, anyways, so I've never mentioned this part of my journey when I came back to Laredo after I was basically given the message that I have to be with my family. I have to go home and go back to Texas, I should say, to be with my family, my mom, my dad, my immediate family. Because if I didn't, essentially I would be entering a timeline where they all just died in separate ways, in different ways. They didn't succeed in life, and I had to go back near them. Like, that was the message that I got. So I came back, and I had those dramas with my family play out, and they're doing a lot better now than what they were back then. All of us are doing a lot better shit. And during that time, I myself was going through I guess you could say, an inner, an inner, just confusion, basically, as to what I should do with my life personally, like how I should move forward in my mission, career wise, financially, how I should go about doing that. And I started thinking of the nonprofit realm and everything, and so I started with the city, going and doing gardening, reaching out to the LCC gardening program at the time, and volunteering, learning how to do that, and going with them to try and make projects happen with the city regarding gardening, and just to help people, grow food and stuff. And just I wanted to do that. But when I was on that path, I was basically met with a lot of circumstances where I was being made aware that I needed to go on a different path in my life. I needed to delve into a darker realm of the world in order to have an effect on it, like really change it, because essentially what I was getting was that this world, this city in particular, was just way too corrupted by criminal and corrupt politicians. So, engaged in criminal activity with criminals. And that was going to be a problem with me trying to, make stuff happen like that I wanted. So, and I was made aware also that people that were involved, in those groups knew about this, and they were, instead of wanting to fight more, they were afraid. They got scared and intimidated by my energy to go after people like that, or not be afraid to challenge them. And they were very put off by me. So, it made it really hard to continue in that world like that for me personally, because I can't trust people like that are afraid like that. I can't engage in an activity where I'm challenging people like that with people on my side that are afraid. They can't be afraid. They can't. There has to be no fear. They have to be fearless. And it's a rare quality to find. It's not to say that it's doesn't exist, that there are not people out there like that. I know there are, but they're few and far between. And so I decided I needed to go a different route, one that was more intimate, and one that would actually have an effect on that world in a positive way, to get involved with people that are actually from the criminal world, that, and I mean the criminal world, like where it's people that are actually corrupt on a level of professionalism, you could say, so to speak, and to help them re-navigate their lives into a direction that's more positive for them and the people in their lives and around them. And so that's what I did and started doing. And I've done it with several people, several friends, several acquaintances, all around, in different ways. because I don't always have to be like involved directly with the person. I could just be near, in the vicinity, aware, and have an impact, but I have to be aware of it. So that's what I basically started doing, just looking into all the, the different politicians, the different people around, and what they're involved in, what they're doing, and just changing the energy. And it's worked. I mean, things have gotten a lot better in the country overall. Shit. In the sense of, justice being actually sought in a manner where corrupt individuals aren't, trying to sabotage that justice in any way. So I'm not done yet. There's still a lot that needs to be done. A lot. And once I get to that level of comfort and my safety and in my own personal foundation, my home, it's gonna get a lot more serious. And I know, like, I've always known I'm gonna be known one day. Like, I'm gonna have money. I'm gonna be famous or infamous, whatever you prefer to think of me as. And I'm gonna change the world. Like, I've always known that. I didn't know how that was all gonna play out, but I've always known that I was gonna be famous, I was gonna be rich, and I was gonna change the world. And I thought I was gonna be through acting, most of my life. But after, being awakened, I didn't know how that was gonna happen anymore. So it's starting to become more clear to me now how, but it hasn't happened fully yet. Which I'm kind of thankful for, because honestly, like, I'm kind of trying to, like, wait to get to that level of notoriety and famousness to where it's, like, not a thing anymore, where people are just like, oh yeah, that's that person, even though they've done all these amazing things, and or they're, well liked and well known. It's just like, well, they're just a person. Because I wouldn't want to be like a celebrity, like, to that degree of where you have no privacy and you can never have a moment alone, because everybody's just always just in your space or wanting to be in your space. It'll probably be a whole different experience at that point, whenever everybody's just like whatever, walking around like a normal person and not being harassed, even though they're like well known and well liked. Just like smiled at and waved at or whatever, and left alone because they're busy doing their things too. Their important missions. I have imagined such a completely different world from the one we have now. I can't even... I think that's why it's so hard for me to get started on it, because it's just... I know it's so far-fetched, like all the things that I'm planning on outlining to people for my nonprofit, and I'm gonna get a lot of like, people that are very skeptical. And probably they wouldn't like my ideas too, so I think that's probably a big reason of why I'm kind of not able to focus, on just doing that every day, just doing that. Like, fuck pressure washing, fuck, all of this, just do the nonprofit. I want to do that, but I'm terrified, like, of not being able to stay focused in it because of that. All of those things of people, having an idea that they know what I'm thinking or how it's going to play out, and that I'm not going to be able to do it, or we're not going to be able to do it, even though I know it's already very possible. Also, all the people like killing each other all over the world, and dying for stupid things that are just ridiculous, and hurting each other, all the time in their own families and shit. That's another thing that kind of, I don't know, it filters into me not being able to stay focused, because I'm just really upsets me a lot, all of that stuff. Like, I get really angry about it all. Is that a dog? I hear like screaming or something, I don't know, or yelping. I don't know if it's a dog barking. So far away. And I hear a loud train. Oh, I just want the world to be a better place, I don't wanna have a world where my daughter and her children and their children and their children are just seen as just numbers and bodies. Like, I want them to be in a world where they know that they matter, and that this all matters, and we matter, and we understand that.